So there's this misconception that Republicans are spreading that says that Democrats, accusing Democrats of just of not caring that if they have criminals in their states, and it's just not true. It's not true at all. Of course, we don't want violent criminals. We don't on the streets. To say that we do is a lie. But we're in a time where we have to be very careful about we have to understand the changing definitions of words, because Republicans are continuously changing words, the meaning of words, and they're changing definitions. So, for example, what does the word criminal mean? Well, someone who broke the law, right? Someone who committed a crime. But take one example here. Let's say because Trump had wanted to end birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship means that if you were born in the United States, you're a citizen. You're a U.S. citizen. So what happens, right? If he gets rid of birthright citizenship, millions of people instantly become criminals, right? Because they're here illegally. Just like that. But they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't actually commit a crime. So when they say, well, they want to get rid of criminals, look who they're talking about. It's not just people who have committed crimes. But even in the ICE raids, American citizens are being swept up also. Sometimes just because they're a certain color, they were overheard speaking Spanish, or it's crazy. So this is particularly important for people who live in other countries. You're probably going to get a flood, especially Canada. You're probably going to get a flood of asylum seekers from the United States at your border, and the Republicans are going to be saying horrible, horrible things about them. Please do the research and find out what is actually meant, because the Republicans are changing definitions. Just like they want to change the definition of what it means to be an American citizen. So when they say, well, they're not going to deport or take American citizens, but then they change the definition of what that means to revoke birthright citizenship, or at least they said that's what they want to do. So, which then changes the definition of what it means to be an American citizen, rendering millions of American citizens suddenly illegal immigrants. Be very careful when the Republicans, the conservatives, say these horrible things about people who are fleeing and running. They're changing definitions, right? Or they'll accuse, they typically will falsely accuse their opposition of committing the horrific crimes that they personally have committed, that the conservatives have committed, right? They continuously accuse people from the LGBTQ plus community of being sexual predators. And yet, it is consistently people on the far right who have been shown to be sexual predators, priests and pastors and all of these people, for molesting children in their churches, and even like the Republicans are trying to get rid of age of consent to allow child marriage, right? And then they redefine what it means to be a child, so they can justify doing that. They're the ones doing horrible things to children, but they'll accuse a trans person simply of existing, right? Of being a predator. If you got a trans woman in a dress, right, and a child sees that person, they don't talk, they don't, you see them across the street, suddenly that person is deemed a predator. Okay, which is false. It's false. But again, these are the changing definitions. Remember in Nazi Germany, the Nazis, they burnt an entire section of a library that was dedicated to trans healthcare. The transgender healthcare, and now we have the Republicans trying to wipe out of existence any mention of transgender ideology or transgender care, even in the medical field, right? Even in medical journals, just completely wipe them out of existence. And so then you go back to those ICE raids. Well, if suddenly their documents become invalid, just like that, well, now they're undocumented, aren't they? You see how that works? Those detention centers, some people may get deported, but most of the people are being taken to detention centers, which they're also put to work there. Those are labor camps. Research the U.S. prison system. So anyway, the point is just please be mindful of this. When you hear horrible things about people who are trying to flee the United States, who are showing up at your border, before you believe those things that are being said about them, research what is actually meant by that, okay? Because chances are you're being lied to by the Republicans. Yeah.